All right, well, it's 1 o'clock. We appear to have a quorum, so I'll call to order the January meeting of the Construction Board of Adjustments and Appeals. I want to readjust the agenda a little bit. I want to move the election to after the minutes and the appeal topic. So the first item is to review and approve minutes. If anybody has a motion.
Lisa would like, after you get this vote done, Lisa would like to call roll. It just helps her when she does the minutes.
Okay.
On the machine, 'cause I realized last time I don't have y'all's voices down to know exactly who here. I think I figured it out.
You may be talking, but she doesn't know your name.
Okay.
This would help her. So if you get done with this, she'll call roll.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of the October 27th minutes as documented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
And Lisa, if you want to go ahead and call roll.
Okay. Matt Taylor,
Here.
Mike Picklesheimer,
Yes.
Carolyn Lester, Ben Blake, John Murray,
Here.
Ryan Maloney,
Here.
Lyle Lynch.
Here.
All right, next on the agenda is the appeal of a decision of determination of the building official. Robert, would you like to present this case?
Yes, I would be glad. Here comes Mr. Blake.
Ready? Pardon me, Ben.
Sorry.
I appreciate you being here, Ben. So what the appeal today has to do with a hangar that will be going out at Murfreesboro Airport. You may recall, I think it was 18 months ago, we did have another hangar, went through a similar appeal. So I'll tell you what the building code requires. The building code requires that hangars have a fire suppression system in accordance with NFPA 409. The NFPA 409, for the most part, requires all hangars to have a foam fire suppression system. In the process of the appeal on the first hangar, what the city has discovered is there's not enough water pressure or water volume at the airport to make a foam system function correctly. We looked at a lot of different alternatives, and what it came down to was putting a tank, water tank, and fuel, fire pump at the location. So instead, in lieu of that, the TDK, who was the applicant at the time, had an engineer submit the alternate design to y'all. It came before the board, and y'all eventually approved it. So this is a very similar. In fact, the engineer who came up with the alternate design is the same engineer from the first appeal. But this is a different hangar. The other hangar did have residential units attached to it because it was a part of Life Flight. And so the Life Flight people would sleep there in the portion of the hangar. This one does not have anything to do with Life Flight. In fact, it is a spec hangar, if you will. And if you look in the packet, there is a drawing of the hangar. It's right around 16,000 square feet. Type 2B, which is non-combustible construction.
Okay.
It could be leased out to one
package.
tenant. It could be leased out to three or four. They're not sure at this point how many tenants they'll have. When the city approached us about this new hangar, I told them this is one of the issues we're going to have to deal with. So they hired an engineer to submit an alternate design, and I should have told you this already, but Nicholas Morano, I believe, C-Bench Engineering, is on the phone right now with us and is listening and can hear us through the microphone. So he'll probably have some more information to add to it. But I've just basically given you the opening part of this, which is the big concern is the foam system is required by code. they have submitted an alternate design, which includes a sprinkler system and some other systems in lieu of the foam system. So Taylor, with Alan and Poshaw, who is design engineer for the building, is here. She will present her portion, plus I guess Nicholas may chime in at some point. But Taylor, if you want to take it from here, tell us what you're proposing.
Yes, sir. So, as Mr. Holtz just mentioned, the hangar itself, right now, if you're looking at the floor plan, the dashed walls will not be constructed. Those are for potential future tenants. It's our understanding right now there's only one tenant. The shop component will be for mainly interior work, upholstery. That's our understanding of the use of the shop, and then the office component adjacent. Again, Type 2B construction per NFPA 409 requires foam suppression system, don't have the adequate pressure. So our alternate would be to have a wet pipe sprinkler system throughout the entire building. Also proposed cameras that will detect fire or smoke, send an alert to the fire department, set off the sprinkler systems. And also, those cameras will be, because the whole hangar will be open as of now, those cameras will be installed as the hangar is open, and then installed later if more tenants come in and a wall is used to separate those tenant spaces. Also, there will be foam fire suppression carts in every hangar, so there will be 4, and those will be accessed by the fire department. So they have an exterior door so that they can access those and put the fire out. If there are future tenant walls used to separate each hangar, we've also provided that wall will be 1 hour rated and an egress door in those walls, so that if there's a fire in one hangar, they could use that door to egress into another hangar to safely exit the building. And I believe that covers it. I think there will also be, as part of the alternative, potentially some language in the contract for the tenants to not use certain things in the hangars or the shops, so that the wet system can still function and put out a fire as long as those things aren't done. And with that, as Mr. Holt said, Nick is on the phone, so he might be able to answer. He's the engineer that proposed these alternatives, so he might be able to answer more of those specific questions.
Hi, this is Piano. Is there any, since the only thing I would add is that the camera not activate, the sprinklers activate, so.
Right, so I think, it's kind of hard to hear you, Nick, I'm sorry, but I think what he was saying is the cameras don't activate the sprinkler system, they activate themselves, but I think I misspoke.
That's
They
correct.
do sort of alert the fire department in advance.
That is correct. That is correct.
Nicholas, this is Robert. I read a little bit on the cameras, but could you explain to the board what the cameras actually do? Detection, fire, smoke?
So what they are is an actual camera, and if they sense smoke or even a fire, then they send an alert, which would then send it directly to the fire department. And those would probably activate probably at least 10 times faster than any smoke detector could dream of. Because they're actual visual, and like at the TDK, if you've ever went to the TDK hangar, they have view of the whole hangar, and it's 100% visibility.
So it's able to analyze the video it's taken to determine heat or smoke is present at a very early stage of the fire.
That's correct.
Is it a beam detector?
Actually, more. It's just like a video detector, and it's more sensitive than a beam detector because it's an actual, like if you've ever watched a Ring doorbell or something, you see in actual time. That's what it's looking at. Anybody walking by, it sees everything going on in the hangars. And if there's sense of smoke, even if you had like a tool, like a 6 foot high or 5 foot high tool container, if something behind it goes off, as soon as it sees smoke, it just immediately picks it up.
So Nicholas, these aren't monitored by a person, they're monitored,
By a panel,
the
yeah.
camera is intelligent.
Yes, the camera is intelligent. It's tied into an alarm panel, and then the alarm panel will send a direct signal to the fire department.
Is it based
I mean-
off thermal imaging?
Yes. It's just like, and if you ever went to the final of the TDK hangar there, they're the same setup. And you're right, the only difference between this hangar and the TDK hangar is there's nobody sleeping here overnight. There might be somebody sleeping in here, but it's by accident and not by choice.
What is, can you describe a foam cart?
Okay, the foam cart, if you looked at the report, I put a sample of one.
There we go, got it.
Yeah, there it is. If you see it there. and
It's
by-
Appendix A.
Yeah, an Appendix A right there. And there's at least 33 gallons of foam in that, which pretty much should take care of it. And we got one for each hangar. So there'll be a total of 4 of these in the hangar, 1 per hangar. And I think it's got like 50 feet of, I think it's like at least got 25 feet of hose on this. And it does an exception. Now, I'm sure all the fuel in these aircraft are all Class 2 combustible liquids. Oh, and so the sprinkler system is designed for a Class 2 combustible liquid. In addition to, since they're going to be upholstery, I'm going to have a secondary sprinkler density like it's an upholstery area also. So I'm going to have a dual sprinkler density protecting the areas, either a combustible liquid or an upholstery occupancy.
I know
Just got a height.
there was some discussion on the foam carts where they'll be stored so that the fire
Well-
department doesn't have to go into the hangar to get them, to use them. So I don't know what we finally worked out with that, but I don't know if Taylor or you can elaborate on that a little bit.
In the floor plan now, we are showing, it kind of works like a vestibule into the hangar, if they so choose to use that door that way, but it does have a door from the space where the wheeled cart is stored directly to the exterior of the building. The only exception is Hangar Bay 2 does not have a door because of the shops, the way the shops are positioned. The fire department would have to come in through the shops and get the cart from there, or get a cart from another hangar and take it into that space. And there was some discussion about whether you guys proposed or if we thought it would be beneficial to have that room in a rated enclosure. So the room that you see the carts now, if that needs to be 1 hour rated, we can certainly make that happen.
On the cameras, the height
Yes.
that you've got listed up, Matt helped me read it, I couldn't read that small, but it's maybe 5 foot above the height of the aircraft, is that what it says?
Yes, and Nick, you might be able to answer this more. I just sort of was looking at the cut sheet and wanted to have something in the drawing so you could see kind of the location and the angle, the degree that they can visualize.
Because you're going to have aircraft of varying height, I presume, right?
Right.
I would think you'd want your cameras mounted at a bird's eye, or as high as you can, but maybe Nick, you can speak to that?
They're going to be, when we get with the manufacturer and we're going to mount them high enough so we got 100% visibility in the hangar, more than likely, they're going to be spaced along the exterior wall, probably, I'm not sure the height of these aircraft, but I'm sure they're probably going to be, 15 to 18 feet above the floor to give us maximum 100% visibility throughout the whole hangar. I know like the TDK hangar, I think that one was taller than this one slightly, but we had those, I think, at 20-some feet, and we have beautiful visibility in there. I don't know if you've ever seen the finished product of that, but
I have, and I guess I could speak a little bit to that. I was involved a little bit on the TDK hangar, and so I recall this is the same system that was installed at TDK.
that's correct.
Carl, since TDK's been open and occupied, have y'all had those cameras go off for any reason there that you can think of?
Not to my
Nope,
knowledge.
not so.
Yeah, and so I think we could discuss with the manufacturer the proper mounting height. Right now, we have it 18 feet clear for the door height, and then we'll have some structure between that and, just getting the right visibility to make sure they function properly.
You comfortable with the cart location being inside the vestibule, Carl?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the three. I was looking at the one in the shop. The carts, if you look in the shop area, that's for hangar 2, I believe that says. I guess my question would be, we're looking at the building plans. What are my fire truck access points? Can I get all the way around this building? Can I drive all the way around it? Do I have to stop and walk to these doors?
I'm pretty sure it's clear, 360. The parking lot is planned south, and then the terminal runway is north, and I'm pretty sure it's clear all the way around. The only thing I'm uncertain of is if it's paved all the way around.
The shop side will have full parking lot paved on that side, and then on the other side of the hangar will obviously be the airfield side. So, however, you guys at the airport kind of have access for that.
Will the parking lot be gated in any way? Chad, the gates that we require as far as getting us in, I think TDK's got one of them on theirs. Don't they,
Yes, there's a new gate going in with this construction. In fact, the new gate is already in place right now, and it does have a Yelp and everything like that, so you'll be able to get access to it. The only end that doesn't have full pavement is going to be the south end of the hangar itself. And there's a kind of a drainage system in between the existing maintenance hangars and this new hangar.
which end is the south end of the drawing? Is that the opposite the office?
Opposite of the terminal.
Okay.
Hey, just for the record, could you say your name?
I'm Chad Gerke, I'm the airport director.
Thank you.
Another thing I was just thinking when you said that is if we could potentially make the riser room larger to fit the cart and the riser equipment, if that would have easier access for that Hangar 2 cart for the fire department.
I mean, I don't have a big heartburn about the location that they're showing on the plan. One thing that I do notice, let's just say, I'm asking a question. If you sell 4 different tenants, will it be one system for all 4 tenants, or will here's what I'm getting at. If I have a problem in Hangar 1, if I've got one system, I have to kill the whole building. Or will the sprinkler system be designed to where, hey, if we do a hangar, I know you don't know this because you haven't sold it yet, but can we segregate each hangar?
I can do that. If that's what you'd like, and I'm thinking about the design of my sprinkler system, what I can do is I can run like a 6-inch line along the back of the hangar and come off, and then the hangar could be, I could put a control valve and water flow switch for each one of the 4 potential hangar bays. So you could isolate each hangar individually if you wish.
Okay. That eliminates a problem for us. Instead of shutting down a whole building, we shut down just a hangar. That way I maintain fire protection in the other 3. Because I had a little bit of concerns, and I'd have to give this to Robert as far as that exit door, if they do the 1 hour wall separation, if you do all four, and there's a door going into another hangar, I've got the potential of somebody propping that door open, taking that door down. Now, and would that be considered an exit door, Robert? Can we exit people through another hangar?
It would be considered an exit access door, but not an exit. But it does provide a third way out of each space. But it would just be considered exit access, not an exit.
We talked about putting one of the lane panic.
Because the door would normally be really closed.
Kind of like you would see the back of the supermarket where this is exit only, you push it home for 5 seconds, the alarm would go off, and then that way people know it's someone used for exit, not, going into the adjacent hangar next to them.
How's it going to work between tenants? That seems like I wouldn't necessarily want my neighbor, if I don't know them, coming into my space randomly.
Well, the door is normally locked. And if you push on and hold it, and the building code allows for emergency access, so if you hold on the door, after so many minutes, it'll unlock it, then you can exit. But normally, you can't go tenant to tenant. It's normally a locked door.
Can it be minutes? I thought it was just seconds.
It'll be seconds.
Yeah,
Seconds.
it's seconds, it's not minutes, yeah.
Yeah, seconds, yes. 50
So potentially, if
seconds.
I'm in hangar 2, I can go into hangar 1.
Yeah, you could. The alarm on the door would sound.
Just the alarm at the door.
Yeah. Now, are those doors part of the fire alarm monitoring system maybe, or?
They could be, yes.
Yeah, we can tie into that.
I'm just thinking of it from kind of like Matt said, from a tenant standpoint.
Yeah, well, and my point to that is if you're going to wind up, somebody's going to wind up blocking that door or locking it off permanently. I mean, I don't think it's required by code to have that door.
It's not,
so
yeah, it's.
So I don't know that it's too relevant.
But each bay, each bay would require 2 exit doors. You might be able to get away with one. I haven't looked at that, but two exit doors out of each bay would meet code.
What's the benefit of having the doors on the firewall?
I think.
Between the hangars?
I think, and I could be wrong, I think that came about from me. So it wasn't until about a month ago I saw the first floor plan, but one thing I did ask them to consider in their alternate design was additional exits over and beyond what the code requires. And so I'm assuming those doors were put in those proposed tenant walls to accommodate that now.
That was the correct statement, yes.
Yes, okay.
I was just going to add, if there's any thought of not having those doors in between the bays for tenant purposes, we would rather, for security purposes, not. But if there's an access thing for fire that we're concerned about.
It's a liability for you, right, that door?
Well, there's the potential of leaving somebody blocking it shut, locking it shut, or locking it open. Or being propped open. Fire spreading other areas. I don't need the door. And there again, it's based on whether or not they sell all the tenant spaces.
Could a second door be added on the north side? It would be a third the diagonal distance, within more than a third the diagonal distance that would provide the second exit?
We could definitely check to see. That's actually the hangar door. There's a man door built into the hangar door. So we would just need to check to see if it was a third, and then potentially could have 2.
And that would eliminate the need for the one that Carl doesn't prefer.
And really, the issue is hangar bay 2, because the other hangars do have 2 exit doors that exit directly outside of the building. So it could be that that shop wall is rated, and that is the exit access door for that hangar.
There was some discussion, Carl, about rating the vestibule where the foam carts are. So currently, they're not rated at all. Do you want a 1-hour rating around that vestibule?
Well, if you're asking me at Christmas, yeah, sure.
Where did we store them at TDK? Do you recall?
We had a
Where were those
separate room.
stored at TDK?
TDK's a one big hangar, and there's 4 carts in an exterior room from the hangar that we have access to from the outside. They keep all 4 of them in one area.
That's opposite the
That's
runway.
what it was originally. Now, I don't know if they've moved.
I guess that question I have about the foam is, the code requires the foam, but I heard that the fuel in this can be protected by the wet sprinkler system. Is that
That's
correct?
correct. Yes.
So why is the foam, is that assuming we're using a different kind of fuel than is planned to be used in this facility?
I think it's just a standard that NFPA, through their code amendment process, came up with, I'm going to say about 3 or 4 years ago, that I guess aircraft, if you dump them all into one pot, you got military jets, Cessnas, and everything in between, that they just are a higher fire risk than buildings that are not hangars, and so they came up with a standard foam systems would be required, and the exact justification, Nicholas might be able to tell you more than I can, but
You're on the right path there with that statement. I think because the amount of fuel can be in an aircraft wing, but these aircraft could have fuel in them. More than likely they would have fuel in them. Not totally filled up, but we don't know for sure. But the sprinkler system in here would definitely control a fire for sure. It's a class 2 combustible liquid, it would take something significant, even if you had a spill, it would take a significant heat source to light the fuel on fire. I think most of the flash points they're definitely above 100, between 100 and 140, so they fall into that class 2 combustible liquid.
I'll just throw one more question out to the design team, and maybe Chad, for you too. There's a couple items in Nicholas, your letter that are exclusion type items, and
Yeah.
number 10 kind of is the one that stands out about the no fuel tank or fuel system work. And so, how, in a shop where we're preparing planes, where's the rubber meet the road on that? How is that monitored, or how is that guaranteed in any way? I mean, it's kind of down to the tenant, is it not?
Yeah, it's down to the tenant to do the work. I know basically we were told that the work is going to be only on the interior of the aircraft. If they had to do any fuel tank work or fuel system work, that would be performed outside the hangar itself.
That's correct. And then he also has other opportunities at other hangars to do some of that other work. But at any time he's working with changing out a fuel bladder or anything like that, the aircraft's going to be empty of any fuel. So that would not be an issue at that time. And I just do want to add that Station 6 is well-equipped with foam as well, which is less than a mile from the airport. And I'd much rather them come and shoot foam directly than to have just a deluge of foam everywhere and its acidicness and everything that goes with having a foam system.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Have you changed out your truck to the new phosphorus-free foam now?
No.
Oh, good luck.
Can we borrow $25,000?
That's the new foam's about 40, yeah. But National Foam does make, National Foam come out with an AR and AAA foam that is phosphorus-free. And you can discharge that to the sanitary sewer without a problem. I'm working on like 4 foam per week.
Any other questions? No, they entertain a motion.
Sounds like this is consistent with what we've done in the past. Sounds like Carl is comfortable with this, so I'd with all those things in mind, I'd make a motion for approval.
I'll second that. Do we need to add the doors, the 1 hour rating for the vegetable, for the carts, doors tied to the fire system, and water control valve to each hangar to that motion?
I think if you want it to be a part of it, that motion had to be amended to include that, yes, about math.
I'll amend my motion to include everything Ryan just said.
All right. I second the amended motion.
Good luck, Lisa.
Any discussion? Lisa, you won't call roll on it?
Okay. Ryan Maloney.
Aye.
Taylor.
Aye.
Lyle Lynch.
Aye.
Mike Pickle-Summer.
Aye.
Dan Blake. John Murray.
All right. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, next on the agenda, election of a chairman. Yeah, it's been a while.
The ordinance,
We've only met twice since the last time we did this.
it's something that we probably haven't been putting on the agenda like we should be, but the ordinance says every year. So, once I realized that, I had Lisa add it to the agenda.
I'd like to nominate Michael.
Mike, you've done a great job. I'll second that. If you're willing, of course.
It's a tough job.
Somebody's got to do it, Mike.
All right, have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain. I guess we need a vice chair.
I nominate Lyle for vice chair.
I second.
It's a tough job.
All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
All right, staff reports.
I can't think of anything we have to report. We're staying busy. COVID has not affected residential at all. It seems like commercial seems to be slowing down a little bit, but we are staying very busy.
We used to have this meeting regularly every month.
We did.
Why has it died down so much, do you think?
I'm not really sure, maybe somewhat employee-related. I think Monty, one of our previous property maintenance inspectors.
Good fire marshal's office.
I think most of the cases,
Fire marshal office.
most of the cases that were heard were property maintenance related, and I think the new staff is more, if you can't get it done in time required, we'll just cite you to court. Now, they still have the right to appeal. We offer it to them, but they have to do it within 20 days, and most of them just don't. They'll just go ahead and and just come into compliance or take the citation. But I've wondered, had the same thought, too, but looking back on it, most of those cases were for property maintenance, not mowing your grass and stuff like that. So I think we're probably just doing a little better job of working them out before it gets to this point. But we always give everybody the opportunity, if they want to file for an appeal, they got it. But, you know, they typically got to wait at least 30 days or more. Most of them don't want to wait that long, so.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, your property maintenance issues increase or decrease or just run the same based on how the economy's going?
Well, when the economy slows down, property maintenance increases. And so we have a good, strong economy right now, so, you know, that may be part of it. Although we probably have demoed more houses in the last 4 years. You know, they all know they have the right to appeal. It's even in their notice of violation that you have the right to appeal. And they don't fight us like they used to. Well, I'll see if I can drum up some more business for you.
That's all right.
I don't think you interpreted that right.
That's a good job.
Any new business? Not, we're adjourned.